What's going on, guys? Welcome to a second stimulus check update and stimulus package update. This is your afternoon edition of the Wednesday, September 16th stimulus update. Now, if you have been waiting to hear some good news regarding the stimulus checks, stimulus updates, and all stimulus news, then today is going to be that day. I have some good news in the mix of all this bad news, all this skepticism, and all this misinformation. So, did a second stimulus check pass? Did Nancy Pelosi reject the problem solvers' stimulus proposal? And is a stimulus package getting closer? Those are a few of the things I'm going to answer in today's video. Now, these are just some of the things I want to answer because a lot of people have been asking these. So, I want to be very clear exactly what is going on moving forward. So, first, I want to clarify a few things that some people keep spreading that is false. First, Nancy Pelosi did not outright reject the problem solvers proposal. She did, however, reiterate that it does not fully, I repeat, it does not fully meet the needs of the American people. She did not completely write it off. There are a lot of good things inside that bill, and I think she knows that. Now, what Nancy Pelosi is doing right now is, first off, she's struggling. She's trying to keep her head above water for two main reasons. First one, she wants a stimulus package to actually pass. She would like to see help and aid go to state and local governments and to the American people. The second thing that puts her in a very tough situation is she does not want Republicans, specifically President Trump, to be seen as the savior. And that is what would currently happen if the Problem Solvers Caucus proposal were to get passed and get signed in as a bill. It would look like Republicans were the ones that pushed that through, not Democrats. So, what is her next step? And why is this really good moving forward with stimulus negotiations? Well, Nancy Pelosi said this morning that recently her House Democrats were working on updating numbers within the HEROES Act. That is really good because in essence, this means, it sounds like, to me at least, it sounds like they are getting ready to re-release an updated version of that $3.4 trillion HEROES Act that passed on March 15th. That is just over 4 months ago. That's a long time. So, this is really good news because this does solve both of Nancy Pelosi's problems and actually a third one. First off, Democrats are urging Nancy Pelosi, and specifically House Democrats are urging Nancy Pelosi to pass a stimulus bill. Now, these are the moderate Democrats. These are not the extremes. These are the moderates that are urging Nancy Pelosi to pass something, to put it to a vote. Nancy Pelosi does not want to do that just yet because, like I stated, she wants a stimulus package, but she does not want President Trump and Republicans to be seen as the savior. So, then like I said, if and only if this is true, Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats are working to revise that $3.4 trillion HEROES Act, this would solve both problems. It would mean that yes, she wants a stimulus package, so pass one. And she doesn't want Trump to get credit for an additional stimulus package or a second stimulus check. Well, write your own proposal and pass that. That's exactly what it seems like they're doing. From all the reports that I've been reading just this morning, it looks like many people really like the Problem Solvers Caucus and their proposal. They like what they put in there. They like the ideas. They like some of the figures. Also, Democrats have to reject this or they risk looking weak to their opposition, to Republicans. So it's because of this that Democrats are rejecting this across the board. Some more moderate Democrats are accepting this and liking it, and it's looking like it's going to take off. However, the higher ups, Nancy Pelosi specifically, is somewhat rejecting it because she has to. This is part of her negotiation tactic. This is something anybody would do. So, Democrats right now hold all the power. So we will see moving forward what actually happens. However, with negotiations currently at a standstill, this proposal is being seen as the key to opening the doors back up, which I think is incredible. Chief of Staff Mark Meadows even said this morning that he is probably more optimistic about the potential for a deal in the last 72 hours than I have been in the last 72 days. He also said President Trump is encouraged by the problem solver's proposal, which is good news. As of right now, the way it is written, President Trump would sign it. However, there's still negotiations to be had because Democrats are not completely happy with how it was written and the figures within it. Now, what many Democrats really liked about this proposal is that it had a clause that would potentially give Americans a third stimulus check come March if the pandemic were to worsen. That is key. Many Democrats really like this. Also, Republicans liked the idea of the clause that states that if the economy gets better, which many Republicans predict it will get better in a faster amount of time than is originally predicted, then this stimulus amount drops by $200 billion. It is because of this, of all the new information that experts are currently putting a percentage of the chances of a second stimulus check passing before the upcoming election at roughly 80%. So it shot up because of the Problem Solvers Caucus proposal, which is really good news. However, we still need to see if Nancy Pelosi and Democrats are truly rewriting the HEROES Act to make it more current. If that is the case, don't look at the Problem Solvers Caucus proposal. Look at the new proposal, the new HEROES Act, the revised HEROES Act that they would put together and re-release. Nancy Pelosi did come out this morning and say that any proposal needs to meet all the needs of the American people, and if not, then it won't even be considered. It's common sense. She's pretty much just saying the same stuff she's been saying for the past few months. Also, a stimulus package is not only getting closer, but from the looks of things, the next stimulus package would look very similar to what is currently inside the Problem Solvers bill, except rewriting it to make it a Democratic bill is what Democrats are currently trying to do. And I think this is key. This is important. We need to watch this. We need to keep an eye on this and how this kind of moves throughout this next couple days of this week and even into next week. Because if this happens, if Democrats take the exact bill that the Problem Solvers Caucus proposed, they take that bill, revise the numbers, throw in a little bit of their secret sauce or whatever they want to call it, they do that to make it more democratic, I guarantee this is something that we are going to see, and this is something that could potentially pass. Nancy Pelosi has been adamant saying that any bill has to be bipartisan because if it is not, there is no chance it will pass moving forward. Now, for some really good news, President Trump said that he would like a bill to be passed within the next 7 to 10 days. So that is by the end of next week. So if we want to have any impact on the economy this year, the bill has to be passed within the next 7 to 10 days, which is really good news. But there is still one main hurdle. You probably know what it is. You probably guessed it. Mark Meadows stated this morning. The biggest hurdle is the state and local government funding. That has always been the biggest hurdle, and it's not going away. Currently, Democrats are at roughly $900 billion for state and local government funding. Republicans want to be at zero, but they already went up to $150 billion. However, they would go as high as between $250 to $300 billion. Let's just say $250 billion. Well, the Problem Solvers Caucus had this proposal at $500 billion with a clause stating that $130 billion would go away if the economy got better. Now, this is really good news because the Problem Solvers Caucus addressed this already. So, if both Republicans and Democrats like that idea of having that little clause in there, that rider, that could potentially move forward into the rewrite of the HEROES Act. Now, these figures, as well as the interviews from Nancy Pelosi and Mark Meadows, are showing signs of immediate improvements. And this is what I like. First off, their willingness to compromise over the last 72 hours has been an extreme change from we will not compromise, we will not negotiate, to let's compromise, let's negotiate, let's get back at the table. Also, the willingness to propose the October recess. Nancy Pelosi outright said she will not send the House home until a bill has been passed. So we're only 2 weeks, a little bit more than 2 weeks away from when the House would essentially go on recess on October 2nd. Well, they could potentially skip or postpone this entire October recess because of that. Mark Meadows is going to obviously do the same. Also, their willingness to set politics aside for a moment. It is crucial that both parties, both the House and the Senate, both Democrats and Republicans, set aside politics and focus on the people. The people have to come first, and they need to remember that. They need to stop all the games, deal with this issue, and then we can get into politics later. So right now, I just want to say I am more optimistic today about a second stimulus check, about unemployment enhancement, about rental assistance, about state and local government funding, school funding, rental, food assist, all this stuff. I'm more optimistic about this today than I have been in the past couple of weeks. And I am a fairly optimistic person regarding this stimulus package. So, what I've seen over the past 72 hours has been a complete shift. So, ignore all the negativity from Congress. Ignore it. Just completely tune it out. I say this because they have to say these things. They have to publicly come out and comment on these things and say, no, we don't want this, we don't want that, it's not good enough, because they have to hold a strong position moving forward before they start negotiation. So there you guys go. That is your afternoon edition of the second stimulus check update and stimulus package update for Wednesday, September 16th. If you have any questions regarding stimulus, please go ahead, ask your questions down in the comment section below. I'm trying to get to all your questions as fast as I can. You guys ask a lot of questions and I love it. I absolutely love it. Thank you for doing that. Thank you for obviously showing your support, watching the videos, giving the videos a thumbs up or like. Again, if you want to stay updated on all things stimulus, I will try to do my best to save you some time. So go ahead, subscribe today, and I'll see you guys on the next one.